Hi everyone, my name is Erin Elizabeth Wamberg. Thank you so much for choosing to be here with me today. Welcome back if you've been to my channel before, and welcome if this is your first time. Today we have a new moon in Pisces, and this is a new moon in Pisces tarot card reading. I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I love doing these. I hope they serve you. It's so fun for me. So I love these. New moons, this is a timeless reading, even though this reading was created for new moon in Pisces. So if you feel like you were drawn to this reading for some reason, there might be a message in here for you. And remember, while I like working with the moon and being intentional with the moon, you can choose any day of your life to start to get more clear about what you want and choose something different. Okay, so I have 4 groups for you today. I've inserted an overhead shot. You can go ahead and pick your group by whatever speaks to you. You can do it by the number. You can do it by the card that you see. Do it by the sound of my voice. Just again, trust which one. Don't overthink it. And all the times are down below, and I will see you at the reading you chose. Hi, everyone. Welcome. This is for everyone who picked group 1, who picked the card. Instead of worrying about the future, I know all is well when I'm aligned in the moment. Very beautiful energy. So again, this is new moon energy today. So this is about calling in new things that you want. It's about starting over. It's about getting clear about your intentions and things that just the energy you want to bring into your life. So I love this card. I'm going to pull your tarot or read your tarot and then the oracle cards afterwards. But this card, I just want to start off with a message. Maybe you pick by the number, but this is a really beautiful message. Instead of worrying about the future, I know all is well when I'm aligned in the moment. So I love that. A lot of times, maybe we feel like we need to control something or do something more than just show up as our full selves. But the truth is, if we just take care of what we need to take care of and then surrender and find peace in our present moment, then the universe, your higher power, God, whatever you refer to it as, can always do for us that which we can't do for ourselves. So anytime, we worry or we think about things that might be, when we worry and we try to control it too much, it just means we don't have enough faith in ourselves and enough faith in our higher power to bring that which to us, which will actually serve us. So that's something to think about for this new moon. Maybe thinking about where can I bring in some new faith, some new trust, some new releasing that I hadn't before. So very beautiful. Okay, so like I said, I'm going to start with your tarot, and then I have some oracle cards at the end. Okay, so opening your reading, we have Ace of Swords, the Emperor in reverse, 8 of Wands in reverse, 6 of Cups, 4 of Cups, Page of Pentacles, 8 of Pentacles, 7 of Swords, and Knight of Swords. Okay, so the first thing I'm seeing right away is you need to have some boundaries. Okay, Swords is always about discernment. It's always about making decisions. It's always about making things happen. So with this opening to your reading, I think it's important to just think about, what am I allowing into my life that maybe I don't want to be allowing anymore? Maybe where do I need to energetically clean up my boundaries? Where am I hooking into things that don't serve me? Where am I, just operating in a lot of these ways where we feel like we need to be allowing certain energy or certain things into our field that we don't need to be. So this by itself is about boundaries, but then when I have it next to the Emperor and the 8 of Wands in reverse, to me, this just says you need to have boundaries, because the Emperor in reverse and 8 of Wands in reverse, this means you are allowing things that maybe you don't morally agree with and that are blocking you from things that are for you because you don't have these boundaries. Now, again, this might not be like something huge or something intentional or, but the more advanced we get in our energy and the more clear we get about what we want, the more we have to set up boundaries that maybe don't feel the best, or we have to kind of fine tune them, and a boundary doesn't mean it's not bad. It's not, so you're not mean for setting a boundary, right? It's just, we do need to have energy management in our lives. And part of energy management is boundaries. It's saying, what do I allow into my life? What do I focus on? Where do I allow my energy to be connected to? So when we look at this, again, Ace of Swords, we need some discernment, we need some clarity. And then when we have it, again, the Emperor and the Eight of Wands in reverse. So the Emperor, again, speaks of like traditional things, speaks of like just back to basics. So where are some things where you maybe need to have a little more boundaries around what you're allowing into your life? What are some things that like, okay, well, you know, this person is kind of maybe showing up for me, but I've given them enough excuses, so I need to kind of look at that. Or, you know, maybe like I'm mad, I don't have this particular thing in my life, but I don't, you know, go to bed at a certain time, or, you know, I'm just giving examples, but just thinking about what are the ways that you need to kind of relook at some of these back to basic boundaries in your life, because Eight of Wands in the upright is about a lot of movement. It's about forward motion. It's about things coming to you. But when it's reversed here, again, if you feel like you haven't been able to bring something into your life, or, you know, you feel a little stuck, or there's some energy going on, it just feels like it might be blocked because you need to do some awareness and some clearing around what are things that you're allowing into your life that, again, might not be the best thing for you, might not be serving you, might not, you know, just some ways you can clean up your energy a little bit. This doesn't feel super major, you know, it's not like the Tower or Death card is here. So, but it's just, I think these three cards together, Swords is always about setting boundaries. And then when I see them like this, it just is about, again, cleaning up that energy and just getting a little more clear about the ways that, you know, maybe there are certain things going on that don't really fit in with your integrity, with where you want to be going, with the path you want to be taking, right? So it could just even be, I used to allow this thing into my life, but now I want to move into this particular direction in my life. And I know that that thing from the past doesn't match with that anymore. So I'm going to let it go. I'm going to try something else. So just maybe doing some reflecting on this new moon, just what do I want to release? What is not serving me anymore? What are some ways I can like fine tune my boundaries? And again, this can just be saying no to something you would normally say yes to. It doesn't have to be a huge major overhaul. A lot of times when we look at boundaries, it's about, we set a boundary and then we say, okay, how does that feel? And then we decide maybe it needs to be a little bit tighter, a little bit more loose. I mean, it's up to you, but just getting clear about that. So that's the first thing I see with this. And then what I see from there is a very beautiful energy. So, you know, we have the Six of Cups and the Four of Cups. So again, I feel like this is going to make your inner child happy. This is going to make your inner child feel safe. When we access our fully resourced adult energy by setting boundaries, that's when our inner child can really flourish. Because if we feel panic or like we're not in control of our life, that's when we kind of feel like, oh my God, what am I doing? I can't do this, right? But once we feel safe, once we have these boundaries set in place, then our inner child, the Six of Cups is an inner child card. It's true love card. It's, you know, just a lot of this beautiful, innocent, loving energy that we all want to have access to, but maybe sometimes we can't. So when you have that inner child energy, feeling safe and abundant, we just feel better, right? Our inner child is there to help us play, to help us to enjoy life, to help us to, you know, just get clear on the things we want in our life. But if we don't have any boundaries, then our inner child feels out of control. And that's why we can feel out of control, because our inner child is trying to run the show when actually our inner resourced adult needs to be running the show. And so I see from setting those boundaries, you are going to be able to have some inner child energy. Maybe you can feel a little romance in your life. You can call in some romantic energy, whether you have a partner or not. It's available to all of us to just like have some of that romance, beautiful, like flirty energy going on in your life. And then while this is happening, Four of Cups is about, you know, not receiving something. This doesn't feel like you're blocking yourself. This feels more like you know what to say no to, you know? So like, again, we're talking about with boundaries here, like your inner child is flourishing because your inner adult is having boundaries of like, no, that's not for me. I don't want that. I'm not going to accept that. I'm not going to take that. So this energy really feels like, you know, your inner child thrives when we know what to say no to. Sometimes if we're living in lack, it can be really easy for us to want to say yes to everything because we're like, oh my God, what if something better doesn't come? What if this isn't this? And we can kind of move our boundaries and standards because we have some lack fear there. But actually the truth is, you know, when our inner child is thriving, we are able to say no to things that don't serve us. And then what's coming on from there is really beautiful. that goes into the Page of Pentacles, which is something new, like a new abundance coming into your life. So this could just be an idea, right? So Pentacles are about abundance, but we see with this person, the page holding the pentacle in their hand, this could just mean that you just have a new idea. You're just inspired to take some type of action that feels good. And because again, when we have energy leaks everywhere, when we can't focus on ourselves, that's when we can't make the healthiest, best decision for ourselves, because we're focused on all this stuff outside of us. So when we have the Page of Pentacles, it's easier for us to be like, I'm not when we have the Page of Pentacles, when we have these boundaries and we know what we're saying yes to and what we're saying no to, it's easy for us to receive that divine guidance because we're not distracted by everything outside of us. So this Page of Pentacles is really just energy about, what am I looking at? What feels good to me? What is this new abundant thing that can come into my life? It could be you're gifted with a new opportunity. It could be a new relationship. It could be a new whatever. But with this new moon, just really get clear on what it is that you want. So when you set these boundaries, you know what to set your boundaries on. And then that can open energy for you to have access to this Page of Pentacles energy. You can have access to these new ideas, this new abundance. And then what you do with that is up to you. So we go into the Seven of Pentacles right after that. So I just see the abundance multiplying. I see just a lot of ways that you will be able to pick and choose things that feel good for you based on these ideas. And again, starting from that foundation within yourself. So starting from these ideas of like, okay, which ideas do I want to work on? Which ones do I want to give my time and energy to? So this is just an extension of that cleaned up energy from what we were just talking about. Because if you don't clean up your energy, if you don't know what you want, you're never going to be able to make decisions that add to that energy. And so this is saying, once you set these boundaries, once you kind of know what you want, once you're clear, then you're going to be able to have the ideas come in, have the abundance, have the opportunities come in, and you get to work hard and put in your side of the stuff of what you want to see happen in your own life. So this is just really saying, again, it's important for you to set those boundaries so all of these can come in, because again, what we're going to see here, ending your reading with Seven of Swords and Knight of Swords. So sometimes people think Seven of Swords is about, deception and stuff like that, but I think because this reading is overall positive, it's about boundaries. I think it's just going to be, again, I feel like this whole reading has just been progressive energy. Clean up your stuff on the energetic field. What are my boundaries? Then you're going to call in like these new opportunities and you're going to choose which ones you want to work on. Then even more opportunities are going to come in and you're going to be able to pick the ones you want, even from this. And then you're going to be able to go full speed ahead at the ones you want. So this to me is it just feels like a progression. So I feel like with this new moon, right, sometimes we have these plans and these ideas, but the truth is we do need to have a practical plan for the ways that we choose to allow this energy into our life. So you need to look at the ways of what boundaries do I need to set? What am I going to say yes to? What am I going to say no to? And as I continue to say yes to that, I'm going to be able to just get more clear about the things I want to say yes to. And then all my focus and all my energy can be on that to move forward. I can be committed to it. I can be ready to go as I am moving forward with all of these things. So I think for group one, a lot of your message is around boundaries and fine-tuning boundaries. So maybe you're like, I've been working on boundaries for so long. That's fine. It is something that we do need to revisit again and again. And so just getting clear again on the ways that you need to show up for yourself and the way that you need to, which things you need to say yes to and which things you need to say no to. Because boundaries isn't just like to stop someone else's behavior. It's to manage your behavior in a way that you can say yes to things that are for you and no to things that are not for you. Okay, let me look at your oracle cards. Okay, so this is really amazing. This is what we were just talking about. We have baby steps. Action, follow your intuition before it makes sense. So see if you can see. So this is, again, I feel like the theme I set of your whole reading is just, you need to figure out, okay, what's my first step energetically? Then what comes after that? Then what comes after that? So this is saying trust in the process. Trust your intuition. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. The only thing you need to worry about is like, what are my boundaries? What are my standards? And then what you say yes and no to based off of that is going to create your reality, is going to control what things you allow into your life or not into your life, right? So some things are brought to us by the universe, by God, by a higher power. But a lot of times the things we allow into our life have just as much influence on what our life looks like as what is brought to us. So, you know, baby steps, trust the process, trust this, how it's going for you. And again, we have Dear from this card, we have Dear, trust, approach a situation with a light heart. So I feel like this is just saying with boundaries, sometimes people are like, oh, that's mean, or I can't do that, or, you know, but just trust that, again, you know, you aren't setting a boundary if you're setting a boundary to mess with someone or to control someone else's behavior, you need to check yourself. But this is saying to me, keep your boundaries light, know that you're doing this just so you can show up as the best version of yourself, the highest good for yourself and people around you. And then you'll feel a little bit more comfortable to be able to do that. Because what we have here is also the release card. So just kind of letting go of some of the self-judgment, letting go of the ways that maybe you feel like you need to be judging yourself, or, you know, just, and again, we're talking about letting go of the outcome, letting go of the need to control, so you actually can have things coming forward to you in a way that feels good to you. So setting these boundaries and kind of releasing any guilt or judgment you have for setting boundaries. Because like, just because you didn't have good boundaries growing up, or you didn't know, or you need to change them just now, it doesn't mean anything about you. We're always evolving in life. That's part of life. And so if you aren't able to kind of go with that, like, you're never gonna have the life you want. And then the last card, we have Dispelling Sadness. I will feel better once I get the rest I need. So I think this is just a really nice message just to remind you, you know, sometimes when we release things, it still can feel sad, even if it's a choice we're making. So don't judge yourself. Just, you know, offer a little kindness, a little compassion for yourself, a little clarity with that. Just, you know, don't rush this process. That's what I'm hearing too. Like, you're not going to set these boundaries on this one new moon and one lunar cycle is going to go by. And then you're like, I did it. Where's everything I want, right? This is a lifelong process. The theme of life is maintenance. And so just kind of trust the way that you need to show up and keep showing up, and, you know, setting boundaries for yourself. So give yourself, it's just saying, give yourself time to rest. Don't feel like you need to figure everything out today, this day, all of that. Okay. So that's everything I have for you, group one. I hope this served you. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for choosing to be here, and happy new moon. I hope you have a wonderful day. Hello, everyone. This is for everyone who picked group number 2. So you picked the card, It Is Good to Feel Good. So really beautiful. Just a reminder again, for this new moon, it's about focusing on energy you want to bring in, new energy. Obviously, of course, you can do this anytime, but just I like to work with the moon, so I think it's a good time to do that. So I think this card is just, you know, it's back to the basics, right? Sometimes we can overthink things, or we can think like, how do I make this decision? How do I want it? But if we can get so in our head. And I think this card just reminding you, you know, it's good to feel good. So don't overthink it, kind of go with what feels good, and trust that. You're allowed to trust what feels good. You're allowed to trust what's in your heart. You're allowed to trust like that abundance that comes from that space. So again, it's good to feel good. A nice little message to start off with. And like usual, I will start with your tarot, and then I'll clarify with your oracle cards for your reading. So, okay, so opening your reading, we have Judgment in reverse. We have the Emperor in reverse. We have Knight of Wands. We have the Empress. We have Ace of Wands. We have the Moon. Knight of Swords. Queen of Swords in reverse. And Knight of Cups. Okay, so this is interesting. So I mean, the first thing I'm seeing with 2 major arcana cards in reverse here. So Judgment and the Emperor, I think just exactly what I was talking about with this card. This is the energy I'm feeling here. I feel like you have been doing a lot of judgment of yourself, and a lot of, you know, you're just being a little harsh on yourself, right? So like Judgment in reverse is about accountability. Emperor, or Judgment not in reverse, and then Emperor not in reverse is also about like being aligned with your morals, like your basic philosophy, like more traditional things. So I feel like you've been very hard on yourself in some particular situation, and stop. That's what I was saying. That's the first thing I would say. So with this new moon, maybe you want to call in some relief energy, call in some kind energy, call in something where you just stop judging yourself or being so harsh on yourself, right? The Emperor is about tradition. So maybe you're holding yourself to some standard that doesn't actually apply to you, or maybe is exaggerated in your mind, or you learned from somewhere that doesn't actually apply to you, or you don't actually care about. So I think with this, just where can you ease up on yourself? Where can you stop judging yourself so much? Where can you, we do want to have accountability, and we do want to like acknowledge ourselves and our presence, but you don't want to do it to the point that you hate yourself. Like, we can't do anything if we're just being so mean to ourselves. If we're being so mean to ourselves over and over again, we don't actually create any change in our life. We just create this cycle, this addiction to judgment and being mean to ourselves. So, I think we just want to really look at how can you call in more kindness to yourself this new moon? How can you release some energy from yourself? How can you stop judging yourself so much? How can you stop putting like maybe these, and this happens to all of us. We all get socialized by society, by religion, by, our culture. I mean, whatever things we're putting on ourselves, we feel like we have to be, that aren't actually helpful for us. That's what we want to look at here. So how can you lighten that up? How can you be a little nicer to yourself and stop being so harsh about it? Because what comes right after that is Knight of Wands, which is a lot of fast moving energy. Especially like Wands is about inspiration, it's about new ideas, about moving forward. So I think once you can lighten yourself up, you're going to free yourself from, this shame game that keeps us stuck, because guilt and shame keep us so stuck. We don't really have a lot of movement, or we don't feel like we're worthy of stuff if we're trapped in that cycle. So, we want to free yourself up so that you can move forward with a lot of this Knight of Wands energy, and you can kind of move away from whatever judgment place that was. So whether that was someone else judging you, or you feeding into a cycle of judgment, or I don't know what the details are, obviously, but you just getting clear about, and it could be something you learned from someone else, or a message you got from someone else and you internalized it. So it's just saying, run the hell away from that. Okay. Don't be mean to yourself. Don't judge yourself. Don't put all this extra judgment on yourself in a way that you don't need to be. That's what I'm hearing. So then you will be freed up to move forward. And then look at this beautiful, beautiful energy we have in the middle of your reading. We have the Empress, Ace of Wands, and the Moon all together. So beautiful. Okay, so we have two major arcanas by this Ace of Wands here. So what I see with this Empress energy is just when you run away from, not run away from, but when you release and let go some of this like ways you think you have to be, or ways that you're wrong, or you're not good enough, or you can't be all that you are, that's when you step back into this beautiful, powerful energy, regardless of what gender you are, right? This card is about owning your power, knowing who you are intuitively, knowing who you are in your soul. And then when you tap into that energy and that's when a lot of this beautiful Ace of Wands energy around creating something new can come into your life. That's where a lot of this energy around new ideas, new starts, this Wands energy is about movement. So a lot of, you just can tap into that abundant divine energy of like, I'm allowed to be this way. This is who I am. And then this is what I want to create in my life and myself based on those types of things. So that's what we want to, that's what we want to have in our life. That's what we want to focus on. And then again, when we look at that with the Moon, very, very beautiful. So the Moon is about our subconscious energy. It's about our connection with ourselves. So again, I feel like when you own and embody this energy, you're gonna have both of these as the result. The Ace of Wands, so new ideas, new beginnings, new momentum, new energy, new ability to like step into yourself even more fully than you were. And then the Moon here just being about an increased connection with yourself, with your intuition, with trusting yourself, trusting who you are, trusting how you are, not feeling like you need to be in this little limiting box of, all these things around you. So I love this. I feel like, again, very, very powerful thing here, very powerful energy here, again, regardless of your gender. And then just new movement, new abundance, new things coming in for you with this Ace of Wands, and followed by, again, the Moon, just increased connection with yourself, increased ability to feel confident in your intuition and guidance you're getting in that way for yourself is really beautiful. And then what we have, the last three cards here, this is just a little, okay, how do I want to start? So we have Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords, and Knight of Cups. So this is just saying, once you kind of free yourself from all of this bullshit and you feel free and, you know, it might feel so good to be connected to the energy of like, oh my God, this is who I am. I want to create everything. I want to do everything. And you can, like, we're going to do that, but we are on Earth. So this is saying to me, you know, maybe you're going to start with this Knight of Swords and just be so excited and run forward and do everything and try and take over everything and just be so inspired and I'm ready to do this, this, and this, right? Like, so this new energy here of this new ideas or new things coming in, connect with your intuition. Sometimes when we first open up that portal, it can feel so like, oh my God, there's so much to do here. I'm so excited that it can be overwhelming kind of. And like, we just get so like, we either don't start because it's like so overwhelming, or we start and we just are all over the place. So this is saying to me with that Knight of Swords and the Queen of Swords in reverse, just take a breather, okay? Don't try and run and do everything all at once. Move at this pace, more of the Knight of Cups energy. So finding a balance between like, you know, this very masculine energy of like, get out, do it, make something happen. And then this Queen of Swords in reverse energy of like, how can I come up with a plan? How can I calm my energy down? How can I focus on what I want and need to be doing within myself through all of this? So just finding a balance and then maybe coming out the other side as the Knight of Cups with like, you know, a little more patience, a little more like, I mean, just look at these two together. Look at them. Look at how that one's moving versus that one's moving, right? So this one's, the horse is clearly sprinting, running very quickly. Knight of Cups, a little bit slower, right? So just looking at, you know, if I have all these, if I am tapped into my power, I know who I am, I know what I want to do, I have all these ideas, I have my intuition to guide me about the right way to make these things happen I want in my life. How can you find, again, this nice balance of, this is what I know I need to do, this is how I can do it, and then also this Queen of Swords of, and this is how I can also tap into some of my own energy to show up for myself, to create patience and peace within myself with this, which again, a little more balanced, a little more calm, a little more like moving forward in a way that feels like we're not trying to tie you down here or make things not happen for you. But again, we are on Earth. We do need to have some time for some of these energies and physical reality to even out. So just what are the ways that, you know, we can move forward in ways that feel good and that are actually going to serve you, instead of just, you know, a bat out of hell and just running to go do whatever you can do in that moment. Like, we love that energy, we want it, but again, we need to have a balance with both of those things. Okay, so looking at your oracle cards. Okay, so we'll start with this one because this is just what we were talking about with, again, this pace of the Knight of Cups. We have Dolphin, which is about Atlantis. Healing wisdom is surfacing, stop and listen. So I don't know. Okay, I think you can see it there. But so, yeah, so this is just what we're talking about with, like, you know, don't try to go a million miles an hour, right? Like, go at a pace, like stop and listen, check in with yourself along the way. And then this also very much reminds me of this moon energy I was talking about, of just like, you know, let your intuition guide you. Maybe, you know, you have an idea of like, oh, I'm going to do this thing right away, or this is the way I want to move forward, or this is the right thing for me. But, you know, sometimes you just need to take a minute and be like, okay, actually, what is the right plan for me? What can I do for myself? Can I take a minute and just kind of let my intuition guide me in a way that maybe my logic mind can't? So just, again, more energy of calming down, and just kind of trusting that process to move through for you. I feel like these two go really well together when we go back to the beginning of the reading. So the first card was, we have cracked open, rock bottom, surrender to the alchemy of life. So again, you get the vibes. And then this one is speak truth. Okay, so both of these to me, cracked open, surrender to the alchemy of life. That one is more about, like, again, this process of letting things go and be what we're talking about, like finding balance, know what's going on with you, and then speak truth here. Just reminds me what we were talking about in the beginning. Like, stop trying to put yourself in this box or be this thing or this person that you aren't. Like, you're allowed to be your full self. You're allowed to be things that people can't understand, as long as you are non-harmfully being the you that you know you are, like that's very important. So this is just a reminder of, you know, speak truth to yourself and the decisions you make, and then that is going to help you as you move forward on your journey of life with the alchemy of life. So, you know, alchemy of life is just about changes. It's about, we always are evolving, because again, that's life. So just knowing if you can speak truth to yourself, then it is going to help you kind of be cracked open. And then this is just really beautiful. We're kind of ending your reading with the same energy that we started with, of it's good to feel good. This one is inviting ecstasy. I am worthy of all the pleasure of my heart desires. So just reminding yourself, you can be guided by things that feel good. You can be guided by things that, you know, you can feel are your abundance. And I think that will help you. This affirmation, I am worthy of all the pleasure of my heart, all the pleasure my heart desires. Sometimes when we can be like this and go really crazy and just want to make everything happen all at once, it's because we feel we don't have faith that everything we want will be brought to us, or we don't have faith that our higher power is looking out for us, or that everything will be taken care of us. So when you remind yourself, I'm worthy of all the pleasure my heart desires, that's when it can be a little bit easier to move at, like, okay, a pace of trust, a pace of faith, a pace of not needing to shove things, you know, force things, make things happen and do all this extra stuff. And instead just, again, moving at a pace that feels good, feels comfortable, know that you're doing your part. And so practicing patience and knowing that you will be taken care of along the way, and then just reminding yourself to feel good while you're waiting. So it is good to feel good, and it is good to tap into that while you are waiting for these particular things to happen one way or another. Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this served you. Happy new moon. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Hi everyone, welcome. This is for everyone who picked group number 3. So you pick the card. When I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. So very beautiful. I just have studio lighting, so the cards are taking a little bit more to focus than normal. But that's what we have. When I'm in a state of appreciation, I'm in vibrational alignment with my true love nature. So really beautiful. So I think this new moon, again, even if it's not the new moon when you're watching this reading, this is just a message to remind us that gratitude is always the attitude. Even if you're going through a hard time, you know, having things that we feel grateful for can kind of help pull us out of some of those, like, fear spirals, sadness spirals, you know, just anything where you can have any moment of appreciation. You don't have to be appreciative for something that, you know, if you're not ready to learn your lesson from it yet, that's fine. But this is just reminding us, you know, when you are in a state of appreciation, vibrational alignment, then that is actually the truth of who we are. And sometimes when we don't appreciate, don't feel grateful, we just push ourselves out of that alignment so much that that's why things can feel, you know, maybe worse than we are, because we're like, no, nothing's going right. This is it, whatever. So just, yeah, if you want to, even on this new moon, I know new moons, I always talk about, are about calling in new energy. If you can just offer some appreciation, it's got a little message for you to start off with. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to go through your tarot, and then at the end, I will have your oracle cards. And so if you ever, So we're just going to start with that, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so for tarot, so first we have Knight of Cups, Death, Knight of Wands, the Lovers, cute, Page of Wands, Devil, Nine of Wands in reverse, Queen of Wands, and King of Cups in reverse. Okay, so I feel like the message for this new moon that I'm getting is don't lose your sense of self. That's the general energy that I'm getting from this reading, but I'm going to go into it a little bit more. But I think, you know, don't lose yourself for things outside of you is the main message I want to give you from this reading. So I think if you've been feeling like, you know, you've been on the path for a long time, you've been moving forward, you've been slow and steady wins the race. Here I go. I'm doing my things, but nothing's happening. I see a big burst of energy for you. I see kind of like if you feel like you've been plugging along at something, maybe your self-care, you've been working on a project for a long time, or something's been happening and it just like, you're like, what, why the hell, where are the results? What's going on? I see with this death card into the Knight of Wands here, you're going to break through that, right? So this is interesting. I mean, it's basically mirrored image, right? So people are scared of the death card. I love it. It means death is happening all the time in our lives. A lot of things have to die. A lot of past emotional states, a lot of past emotional beliefs about ourselves have to die for us to get to the other side. So when I see this Knight of Cups just kind of like slow moving, like here I go, okay, I'm on my way. But then this death is going to come and kind of break that cycle. So you're going to either just, I'm not hearing that you need to do too much things different, just like you need to keep trust, to have faith that the work you're putting in is going to pay off. And eventually this cycle of death, of something being ending, of something leaving, is going to put you into the Knight of Wands. See, just way more energy. Like, just look at the difference of speed here between these two, right? So walking very slowly, slow and steady. And this one, feet are in the air, we are moving, we are flying, right? So I feel like the first thing I want to tell you is don't give up. Don't jump ship yet. Don't give up. Have faith that the work you've put in is doing something. Things are happening. Things are coming together, even if it might not feel like it in this moment. So just really trusting the ways that your energy, all the invisible work eventually is made manifest. So if you feel like you've been, putting in work towards something and you're like, where's the results? What's going to change? What's going to happen? There is an ending point. The bubble does explode. The death does happen. And then you come out the other side brand new and refreshed and ready to go. So with this new moon, or whenever you're watching this, just focus on, just staying the path, just one foot in front of the other, one thing at a time, one day at a time, just do what you need to do and have faith in that process. Have faith it's gonna turn out for you one way or another, and you are going to get some of the results you want. And if you are looking for love, this is obviously here. So this could be whether you're single, in a relationship, open relationship, whatever your relationship status here is. Maybe you did some work around how can I be more magnetic towards a partner, or how can my partner and I, or this person I'm interested in, like be more in alignment together. So I definitely see that here with the lovers. If you're not open to that energy right now, this can also be about just merging your divine feminine and masculine energy together. And so just merging the way that you that you have that balance in your life. So maybe you've been overly masculine your whole life, regardless of your gender, right? You're doing everything, you're controlling everything, you're trying to make everything happen. And this is just showing me moving into a little bit more alignment with maybe that feminine energy of like, I don't need to control everything. I can let go. Maybe you surprised yourself with how you react to something in your life of like, wow, a year ago or a few months ago, I would have reacted this way. But because I put in this slow and steady work here, of rewriting, of doing my affirmations, of reading, of journaling, of building this relationship with myself, because I've been doing that, I feel way more comfortable and better and aligned with my feminine masculine energies balance. Because most of us are socialized one way or the other, of being too overly masculine or too overly feminine. And so finding that can be very helpful for you. So I feel like that's a message. Obviously, if the romantic part resonated with you, then that's for you. But also the message of balancing your own masculine and feminine energy could have resonated for you too. This is just a general reading, so don't overthink it too much. But I think that is coming in for you. And then once you do have a little more balance restored, within yourself, within your romantic relationship, with your partner, with whatever is going on for you, I see that something new is going to come in. So it could be again, a new romantic partner, a new opportunity, a new layer of you and your significant other. If you are in a relationship, you don't want to break up, anything like that. Just this new energy is coming, this new page energy of like a new opportunity, a new something for you that, comes as a result of the balance from this. So just this new opportunity to create something new, to go to the next level of your life, I feel like, again, this is a result of the work that you have put in, the things that, I didn't say this before, but the things that you also let go of. So death is about cycles ending for us, but it's also about us letting things die. It's also about us letting things go that can't go with us to the next layer of our life. And, you know, that can be sad, but that's part of Earth, that's part of life. So letting things go, and then you'll have something new come in too from that. You know, it's going to be just as important for you to make sure you are letting in something new come in as you are as letting things go. And so working and focusing on maintaining your own energy, it's going to be way easier for you to focus on this Page of Wands energy here. And then what I am seeing from that is the Devil. Again, the Devil and Death are cards that we're just missing the Tower from this one, which will be the big three cards people are scared of. But the Devil here is just going to be remind you to stay on the straight path. It's going to remind you to not be distracted. Devil can be about addiction. It can be about temptations. So sometimes, you know, again, when we do let things die, when we do let things go, sometimes if we're triggered or we're in a new opportunity or something is coming towards us that we really want, it can be something that is very real and something that would serve us, does strike a lot of fear in us. And we might want to pull away from it or be afraid. So this is saying when we have the Devil into this 8 of Wands in reverse, right? Or 9 of Wands, pardon me. 9 of Wands upright is about like, oh, this isn't really hurting me. I'm just kind of making it up. But when we have it in the reverse with the Devil, this is going to be about making sure you aren't playing tricks on yourself, making sure you don't kick away your blessings just because, you know, this is something you waited for a really long time. This is something you've been working for a really long time. So this is saying, don't kick your blessings away. If the temptation is there to, you know, pick up an old habit that doesn't serve you, or go back to shrinking yourself or feeling like maybe I don't deserve it, this is just, don't do that. Okay, that's what I want to say to you. Don't do that. No judgment. You know, we're not perfect, so we might ebb and flow a little bit, but this is just to remind you that temptation will always be there. Fear, false evidence appearing real will always be there, but it is going to be important for you to see that for what it is and kind of let it go, you know, kind of like not buy into that and trust your intuition, trust this balanced energy you have within yourself, trust the ways that you have put in the work. You can trust like you reprogrammed yourself. So trust those moving forward so that you can just not, you know, this stuff won't be as appealing when you do all that and when you know that you've done that. Because what I'm seeing here too, the last thing I'll say that came through in your reading, Queen of Wands and King of Cups in reverse. This is about finding, to me, based on this reading and what I see here, this is about finding balance between your head and your heart. So I feel like King of Cups is very emotional, very intuition driven, very just a lot of the ways that, you know, we can be motivated to think that way. And then Queen of Wands. So this is divine masculine and feminine energy. So I feel like, again, a really graduated energy of what we're talking about here with merging your masculine and feminine energies, or a whole new level with your partner or your significant other, your romantic relationships, whatever is going on. But here looking at, we have Queen of Wands upright and King of Cups in reverse. This is saying you're going to be tempted by this stuff because you haven't found a balance in this King and Queen energy. You're still trying to find that balance between your masculine and feminine energy. So I think with this new moon, it could be helpful for you to make a list or write out, like, you know, in my masculine energy, I appreciate it because I know it helps me take action. It helps me set boundaries. It helps me, you know, come up with a plan. It helps me be practical, because we do need all of that. And then our feminine energy is more about like, I can meditate, I can pray, I can surrender, I can tap into good feeling energy within myself. So it's just saying to me for this new moon, just really reminding you that it's going to be important for you to make sure you are in balance with your masculine and feminine energies. You are in balance of, you know, making sure you don't just start working on something, you know, you have this idea and it's here, and this new inspiration and this new layer, you know, it is gonna, you still do have to find your footing with these things, even if it feels really good. So just be nice to yourself if you need a little bit of time to adjust, if you need to find some balance between these two things. And if there is hardship or challenges along the way, it doesn't mean you're failing or doing the wrong thing. It's just we still have to practice before we can get it perfectly right. Okay, so with your oracle cards, okay, so we'll start with this one because this is just what we were talking about. Well, okay, yeah, this is what we're talking about. So we have the otter initiations, be open through this transitional time. So, excuse me. So I think what we're seeing here with initiations, again, just what I was talking about with like getting to this next layer with this, then getting to the next layer with this, then getting to the next layer with this. So don't be, this is, you know, we see this cute little otter floating down the river. Don't judge yourself if you need a little bit of time to get your footing. You know, this otter is just floating down the river or the stream or wherever. You know, you don't need to judge yourself if you don't get it perfectly right away, if you need a little bit of time to adjust or any of that stuff, right? This is way more about, you know, going with the flow. Initiation is an unsettling experience. It is a time where we do need to have clear boundaries. It is a time where we do need to like give ourselves space to find our footing. So to me, this is about, you know, just holding some space for yourself and not feeling like you need to just be nicer to yourself is basically this is what I'm hearing over and over again. And then from that, I think this is interesting. We have Star Brothers, Horus energy, protection, loyalty, safety, trust. So I think when you can let go, when you can trust the process, it's going to be about reminding yourself, look at this beautiful picture on this card, right? You do have this energy to be able to trust, you are safe, you are protected, you are divinely guided. So as you go through these cycles and this up level of what I'm seeing with this new moon energy here, like remind yourself you do have protection from the other side. You do have some of this energy coming in that shows up for you, that takes care of you, that, I mean, all of that is so helpful and important to you with this. And, you know, it's just a way to think about, okay, if I am divinely guided and protected, what do I need to be afraid of? Again, not that, you know, fear goes away. We do still have the human experience forever, but this is looking at what, you know, what can I kind of relax and trust a little bit more, knowing I am guided and protected from my higher power, from my guides, from my angels on the other side. And then I love these two cards together. So we have welcoming surrender. There is no problem, only destiny being revealed. And then we have that at the same time with the Weaver. So I feel like a lot in your reading is like about the dualities of life. It's about the dualities of truth, of, you know, how we need both sides of many things in our lives. And so I think just remember that you do need to surrender. That is the feminine part, right? When we're talking about these divine masculine and feminine energies in your reading, you do need to surrender. You do need to trust that, again, there's no problem, only destiny being revealed, that there are things that are being shown to you, being released to you. And then at the same time, we have the Weaver, which is more masculine energy of like, you are creating your fate in your life. You have a role in what shows up, in what you choose, in what you allow. So I just love this little reminder again of you have to surrender some things and you have to weave some things. You have to let go of some things and you have to know what your part is. So I just feel like this is a very strong message for group number 3 that, you know, this new moon is really about balance for you. It is really about what things can I let go of, my feminine energy, and what things do I need to like get a little more clear with my masculine energy. So I think this time for you is really going to be about just releasing that and not judging yourself and just kind of, again, getting more clear about the ways that you can find this balance between surrendering and knowing that, you know, you are the weaver of your life. We do get to make choices. The things we do add up and do, you know, they have an impact on our reality. Okay, so that's everything I have for you. I hope this served you. If you ever want any more information about me, all of that is linked below. Thank you so much again for being here with me today, and I hope you have a wonderful new moon. Hi, everyone. This is everyone who picked group number 4. Welcome. This is the group I Can Do Less and Attract More. Beautiful. So just starting off with this new moon reading message, just to remind you that a lot of times we feel like, especially with social media, especially with looking at what everyone else is doing, and people just publicly broadcast all their wins all the time, right? Sometimes we feel like I need to be doing this, I need to be doing this, I need to be doing this, I need to be, more. But actually the truth is, the less we try to control, the less we have faith in the action we are taking. That's what creates more abundance in our lives. When we feel like we already are enough and we have faith and trust and we know that what we're doing is the right thing, that's when it's going to be easy for us to bring things that are to us, because we're not just acting in this like manic need to make something happen way. And so if you aren't, for this new moon already, allowing yourself some rest and relaxation, then I would strongly suggest that as well. But just remind yourself again, you can do less, you can slow down, you can give yourself a break. You should. It's a good thing to do, and you can still have a completely abundant, full life. Because sometimes when we do so much, we do it because we think we're bringing this thing in, but we don't even really know if we want that thing. We just do it because we're like, oh, I need to do this so I can have that thing. But it's like, do I even really want that thing? So just take, whenever you're watching this reading, new moon or not, just can you just lighten up on yourself a little bit? That would be good. Okay, so like usual, I'm going to start with your tarot cards, and then I will clarify with your oracle cards at the end. So opening your reading, wow, beautiful. We have 10 of Pentacles, we have Ace of Swords, then we have the Tower, 8 of Cups in reverse, we have the Magician, 5 of Swords in reverse, 5 of Pentacles in reverse, the Chariot, and King of Cups. Okay, so what I'm seeing right away is you gotta trust the process. Whatever is going on in your life, it seems like it might be a little chaotic, and maybe there's a lot of things that logically don't make sense, or you aren't getting a lot of confirmation reflected back to you from physical reality. But what I'm seeing with this is you really need to trust the process. A lot of times when things are happening that are beyond our control, or it's like a rebuilding of our life, or something amazing is coming to us, we don't trust the pieces that are coming together, because we're so focused on where's like the physical proof, where's the physical reality proof, where's the confirmation from physical reality. But just off the bat right away, what I'm seeing is trust your gut, and don't feel like you need to trust how it feels, not what it looks like. To have faith in yourself, have faith in your higher power, that things are unfolding in the way that is for you, even if you're like, the hell is going on? This seems like absolutely unbelievable, right? So starting your reading with all of that, just this can be one of those it's like one of the cosmic jokes of life, right? So 10 of Pentacles, Ace of Swords, the Tower, feels like there's something that looked nice and shiny and abundant and beautiful on the outside in physical reality, and then you had to set a boundary or get clear of like, wow, this actually doesn't feel good, and everything came crashing down. So I don't know what this is in relation to your life, but it just seems like there's something that looked good or looked appealing or looked like it had everything right? Things can look good on paper, but they might not be a match for us. And that's what I'm seeing with this, of just like, oh my God, like this was so shiny and new and exciting and wonderful for me. But then it either the truth energetically came out about it, or there was just some awareness where you had to kind of set a boundary around it, and then a lot of things came crashing down. The Tower, again, is a card that you can be afraid of, but it's just part of life. It's just things crumble so something new and better can come. Like our foundations have to crumble so something new can come up. So if something, or it could be something that you really wanted, right? Sometimes our ego's like, I see that thing, I want it. But you have to trust that if there is a boundary, if there is a no, if something doesn't work out for you, that there is some reason, something that you can't see. There's some energetic mismatch. That is why that didn't happen for you. So maybe this is saying you overinvested in something too, or you ignored some red flags about something, or you know, just to me, this just really feels like the shiny physical reality appeal of it made you just be like, yeah, that's definitely for me. That's definitely for me. That thing is definitely for me, when it wasn't. And so if you maybe bought into it or felt like this is a thing for me, but it doesn't feel super good, that might be what's coming up, of just like, you know, this boundary had to be set, this limit was crossed, and then, you know, sometimes we do that, right? Like, and this is no judgment because I've done it too, but we're like, no, that thing's for me, that thing's definitely for me, that thing's definitely, and we push and push and push and push, and then it turns out not to be what we thought, and then we're like, you know, these two people here, like, oh my God, what the hell happened? How could that be like that? But then looking back, you're like, oh, I was just pretending it wasn't like that. So what I'm seeing here is just, if that happened to you, what I just want to tell you is it's okay to trust yourself, trust the process, trust that anytime you don't match something, there is a higher plan in place. And I know that can be very annoying to hear sometimes, but you have to believe that, because even if it's not true, it's like, what's the other option? You're going to go crazy trying to convince yourself otherwise, right? So I think just releasing some of that attachment to, oh, it should have been that thing, it should have been that thing, it should have been that thing, and instead setting the boundary and being like, okay, what is the truth about this situation? And then what I'm seeing here, after all of that happened, you know, this is really amazing, this layout. So we have 8 of Cups in reverse, the Magician, and then 5 of Swords in reverse. So this is saying to me, you are very powerful. You are this magician energy right in the middle. And then the 2 things on either side, don't run away from yourself and don't give into some of these, you know, what are some things you learned from this fall down that you can take moving forward, and don't give into that again. So I'm seeing, because what I'm seeing on either side of this is this very, very powerful Magician card, just being like, this is who I am. This is what I know I can create. This is what I know I can call into my life. This is what I know I can choose and stand up for myself. These are the boundaries I have. I can have whatever I want. And sometimes that can be scary to us. Sometimes being powerful and knowing who we are and knowing what our standards are and knowing what our boundaries are can be scary, right? Marianne Williamson says, our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. It's that we are powerful beyond measure. And that's true. And that's what I'm feeling with this new moon, is like, you're really stepping into some of your own power. You're really getting clear of like, wow, I don't need to settle for this thing, no matter how it looks. I don't need to settle for choosing this thing, even if it seems like on paper, right, it's the right thing for me. So I feel like with that being the center of your reading, the theme of your reading, and then these 2 on the other side of it, it's saying, don't, in the upright, right, this is about leaving things behind. This is saying, don't run away from yourself. Don't run away from, to me, those 8 cups represent all the power you have, all the abundance you have, all the magic you have within yourself. So this is saying, don't run away from that. Don't turn your back on all of that, just because you might feel a little afraid of being powerful for the first time in your life. Not the first time in your life, but maybe like to this level that you've been before. So don't turn your back on yourself. Don't turn your back on all the gifts you have. And then this, in the upright, 5 of Swords can be about deception or, you know, choosing something different. This is going to be like, don't allow things that feel bad into your life. Trust your gut. You know, use this really magician energy of being in your power. Trust your gut. Trust what does not feel good to you. Again, if you learned anything from this Tower, it's like, just because it looks good on paper doesn't mean it's something for you. You don't need to feel like you're judging something just because you can like get bad energy from it, right? Just keep your distance, keep some space from it. Allow yourself to feel confident in your intuition, in this magician energy, in this powerful energy of like, wow, I can create everything that I want. I can get what I want through my boundaries and standards and things that feel good to me, without, you know, kind of, sometimes we give our power away by thinking like, oh, well, this person did it this, and this way, so I have to do it that, and that way. That's not true. You get to do it your way. You get to create. Our tuition is our strongest guidance system to help us, you know, do our part of the piece of the puzzle, while the universe does the rest for us, our higher power, God, whatever you want to say. So this is saying, don't buy into any of that deception again, and also don't run away from your own power while you embody this magician energy. So I think with this new moon, or whenever you're watching this video, is thinking about what are ways I can trust myself? Make a list. What are ways you've trusted yourself and things have worked out before? What have you accomplished? What are things that have worked out for you, or your intuition, or whatever, that, you are able to put some clarity around that, and not doubt yourself and give away your power, your gifts anymore, and not buy into maybe some limiting beliefs or lies about yourself that other people told you throughout all of that. Because what I'm seeing here is really beautiful. The ending to your reading, we have Five of Pentacles in reverse, the Chariot, and then King of Cups. So I think right away, as long as you maintain this Magician energy and then maintain these two other things for yourself of like, don't downplay yourself, don't give away your power, don't underestimate your gifts, and also don't buy into some of this like deceptive energy or trusting what people are saying, if what they're doing something different. You're going to be able to bring yourself in from the cold. You're going to stop exiling these parts of you, right? Sometimes in life, we don't know we need a certain boundary until that boundary gets crossed. And that's nothing to judge yourself about. That's just how life is. So sometimes if that happened to you, just offering yourself some compassion, some kindness, some understanding, but knowing that when you do embody this energy fully, you are going to be able to bring yourself in from the cold. You are going to be able to kind of like bring forward those exiled parts of you that sometimes we exile ourselves just because of an experience we had with someone else that wasn't very good or helpful. And that's about them and their pain body. But sometimes we can internalize that long after the interaction happened. So I feel like as you're stepping back into yourself, this is about, just really owning what that means for you. And then we move into like, look at this beautiful energy, the Chariot and the King of Cups. So this is just saying to me, you want to start by welcoming those parts back to you. You want to start by, setting the intention to be kind to yourself, to trust yourself, to listen to yourself. And the more you do that, the more you bring yourself in from the cold, and the more you can offer yourself compassion. And then what's going to happen is this Chariot is like slow moving, it's a little slower than the ego would like sometimes, but you do have this Chariot energy that is very peaceful, that's bringing you to this beautiful, amazing King of Cups energy. King of Cups is about emotional maturity. It's about owning, king energy, regardless of your gender, king energy of like, this is who I am. This is what I want in my life. This is what I'm going to allow in my life. And just really owning all of that and knowing that you are on your way to embodying that, right? So the Magician is more about, it's both. The Magician is about creating those things and allowing that stuff in your life and doing all those wonderful things. But as you continue on that process and as you let go of maybe some of these really upsetting experiences and understanding, okay, this horrible thing happened, but what lesson can I get from it? So maybe on this new moon, taking some time to think, what are the lessons I've learned in my life from things that didn't go how I thought they should go, right? So what are some things I've learned and how can I apply that to my energy in my own life? And so when we look at the Chariot, it is about moving forward towards becoming this whole embodied, powerful person, which is the King of Cups. And again, just really owning that energy and just, look at that. Amazing emotional maturity, amazing control of the self, right? You see, even like there's troubled waters, but just tapped into that inner peace, that inner abundance, that inner knowing, the inner trust of the self is kind of where you're moving. So just really owning, just ways that you can reconnect to your power and feel stronger within yourself again. Okay, and then with your oracle cards, okay, this is really amazing. So I think just what I was talking about, we're going to start with this one, encountering conflict. I don't choose sides, I take a stand. So this to me is saying, again, like you don't need to, sometimes something happens in our life and we're like, well, I was right and they were wrong, or this was this and this was that. So I think this is saying to me a way to release the situation and kind of like feel more powerful about something is to kind of be like, okay, this is what happened. I know moving forward now that this is my boundary. This is what I will allow. This is what I won't allow. And so instead of not being afraid of, oh my God, something might happen like this to me again, just being honest and being like, okay, That's what happened to me, and I can choose what I want my boundaries to be moving forward. So really honoring your ability to trust yourself through conflict, trust yourself through situations that maybe don't seem ideal or comfortable. Because what else we have here, very beautiful, is the back card. So listen up. You are working through deep soul patterns. Release any outdated beliefs that surface. So here again, just speaking about like, sometimes we have to, it's the same lesson over and over until we learn it, right? So just looking at what is a lesson that you are like, oh my God, not this again. I can't believe I have to deal with this again. I can't believe this is in my reality again, right? So what keeps happening in your life that makes you feel like that? Listen up, get clear, journal on it. Be like, this is my role in this, and this. And this isn't any judgment of yourself. It's just, again, we're on earth to evolve. And so if we're not being reflective and thinking about the ways that these things are not showing up in our life, we're not going to be able to move forward at all with any of it. And then, because again, what we have here, ending these two cards together are very beautiful. So we have death. And then we have Hiriath, longing for home, homesick for the stars. I don't think you can see it, but okay. So this, to me, again, this death card is just what we're talking about, the death of a pattern, the death of the emotional self. So the Tower card is also the same energy of death, of just like old things have to leave before we can expect to have new things come in. So if we're not owning that energy and understanding like, okay, death actually does need to happen so I can have new life in my life and have something new, you need to honor that. And then here, longing for home, homesick for the stars. This to me just feels like, again, this magician energy. You are magical. You have a spiritual part of you. So maybe you've been too focused on physical reality. Maybe this is a time of rebirth for you, a time to be like, wow, I'm ready to call in some of these more energetic energies, some of these spiritual energies, some of this otherworldly stuff, right? So when we disown this part of our soul that actually is our intuition, that is connected to the other side, that we do know we are beyond just this physical body, that's sometimes what can cause us discomfort, is because we try to be too practical, too logical, right? We buy into how things look on paper instead of how they feel. And so as you tap into this magician energy, I think it's going to be really important for you to think about, how can I also deepen my spiritual practice, right? Do you need to pray more? Do you need to meditate? Do you want to go out in nature? Do you want to like journal to yourself more? But just looking at what are ways that you can, really feeling homesick for the spirit, calling the spiritual energy into your life and not ignoring it anymore, not thinking you're crazy, not thinking like, there is physical reality. We do have to deal with things in physical reality. But what are maybe, again, the ways when we talk about like these exiled parts of us that we've left out in the cold, what are some ways we can call in some of our spiritual selves to be able to be who we need to be? Okay, that's everything I have for you. I hope this serves you. Happy new moon. If you want any more information about me, all that is linked below. Thank you so much for being here, and I hope you have a wonderful day.